Hey glossettes, welcome back. How are you all doing today? And welcome to the Glosscast. My podcast is finally back after like 2 years. And I say back, I only did like 1 episode on it, but still, okay, I decided to bring this back just to basically, I've always had the intention of bringing this back because I feel like I had so many episodes planned and things to talk about, but I'm finally actually doing it, okay? And how this is gonna go is I'm just gonna yap for however long about whatever topic, whilst probably playing the Bloxburg equivalent of like Subway Surfers on screen by doing like pizza delivery or something to keep your attention spans because I know what you guys are like. But anyways, welcome to the Glosscast. I've built like a cute little studio for it, as you can see. I don't know how often I'm actually going to post on this, maybe every couple of weeks. I did kind of contemplate like having my face in it, but for the first episode we're just going to have my lovely avatar here and I'm going to switch between this and kind of footage of me working, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Can you tell my like head's all over the place? I did not script this intro, so I don't know what I'm saying, but anyways, today for the first episode back we're actually going to be talking about the Bloxburg content creator program because so many of you always ask me so many questions about it and I feel like there's not really a central kind of answer, so I just kind of wanted to answer everything for you guys in like one place. If you're curious on what it is, like what actually kind of goes on, if we get paid, I know so many of you want to know if we get paid, so today I'm going to read out the questions. So we're going to be answering what the program actually is, what we do in the program, how to get into the program, and like are there requirements or anything, do we get paid / other perks we get, and pre-builds and limitations. I'm going to talk about the pre-builds we make and testing for the game and my experiences in the program too. Basically everything that I've ever seen people ask, I'm gonna try and answer. Now I do just want to say before we start, I know I haven't posted the Bloxburg news, like the monthly news for June yet. If you didn't know, I did just move house like 2 days ago, and I try and post the monthly news on like the 1st of the next month, which is what Bramp used to do, I'm pretty sure, but I have fumbled the bag on the past 2 months, okay? I had a lot going on in real life, so the April / May episodes got combined together and I posted that at like the very start of June, I'm pretty sure, and then for the June one I was gonna post it on the 1st of July. However, we lost our Wi-Fi on the 1st of July because we were moving, so I've only just got Wi-Fi back and I've only just unpacked my PC and everything, so that is gonna be a couple of days away, okay? I'm working on it as we speak. I just thought it would be kind of cool to get a podcast episode out whilst I kind of have all of this in my brain that I want to yap about, but I just wanted to quickly add that in there. But anyways, we are gonna move on and we are gonna talk about everything to do with the Bloxburg content creator program because I know you guys are nosy, and honestly if I wasn't actually in the program I would be nosy too. I'd be so desperate to find out like as much as I could about it. But let's start with what the program actually is and what we actually do in the program. So if you didn't know, Bloxburg actually has an official content creator partner program, which is basically just a group of Bloxburg creators they put together who basically work with the game and the community managers to help with certain things. And what we actually do is, so creators in the program, we help to test updates, which is actually so cool. I'm going to talk about that more in depth in a little bit. We give feedback on the updates obviously because we're helping test them, so we'll find bugs and kind of give feedback on certain things. We'll suggest certain things to be added or kind of changes to be made within the game. We'll help kind of come up with ideas for future updates, certain things like that. Kind of like a very large part of it is we mainly kind of pass on things like the community's feedback. That is a huge part of it. We're basically the kind of voice for different parts of the community, so we will pass on pretty much all your feedback that I see that I think is probably relevant. I pass on to them, so we pass on like feedback and criticisms, suggestions, as well as like bug reports and stuff like that. I would say that's kind of like our main role, and obviously you guys don't see it because it's all behind the scenes, but 90% of what you guys are saying on like Twitter for example gets passed on by us. We also obviously make pre-builds from the game. I know you guys have obviously seen the ones we have, so if you go into the kind of pre-built catalog in the game you can buy kind of houses and buildings that we've made. I've actually made 2 now, which is pretty cool. I'm also going to talk about those more in depth later and kind of like the rules and limitations we have to stick to. But of course we also make content for the game. We only got into this program in the first place because we are Bloxburg content creators and we're people who are passionate about the game and we make content on it. Like a lot of us, that is our like real job in real life. Well, especially for me, I don't actually do like school or university or anything. My full-time job and what I do every day is I make Bloxburg videos, so obviously that is like a huge kind of part of our role because by making these videos we are technically kind of like advertising the game. Just like anyone who makes Bloxburg content, you are like advertising the game to whoever kind of views that video, so obviously that is a huge part of it as well. But that is kind of like what we do. I feel like we do quite a lot, like a lot that you guys obviously don't see because it's kind of like behind the scenes testing and feedback and stuff like that. Honestly, it's so cool. I'm gonna talk about like at the end kind of my experiences, but I love it so much. But anyways, I know a lot of you also ask all the time how you actually get in the program and are there any requirements. Now I think at the time right now there's 25 of us in the program. So originally last year at the start of the year the program was kind of like announced I guess, and there was only I believe 16 of us in there, and then at the end of last last year they actually expanded this and added 9 more, I'm guessing, if my math is right. So there's 25 of us in it now. And how we actually got in is the Bloxburg team reached out to us privately and they asked us if we'd want to join the program, which was absolutely insane, by the way. Like, when I got that email, I was so convinced it wasn't real. I thought it was a scam. I thought it was fake. So I was like, there's absolutely no way. But yeah, there isn't actually any applications or like you can't ask to join or anything. It is like a private program, so there's no way to kind of apply and be like, okay, I do all this, can I join? However, like I just said, they have expanded it once, so there's always the chance they will eventually expand it again. But you can't, like, you know, kind of fill in this form and kind of hope that they'll accept you in. There's no way to do that. They reached out to us, we didn't reach out to them. But in terms of the requirements, there's also not really any of those either. So pretty much the only requirements are just be an active, you know, content creator in the community, engage with players and the developers, and be passionate about Bloxburg, be passionate about its community. That is pretty much the only requirement. There's not even, like, for example, like an amount of subscribers you would need. I actually got into the program when I had a lot less. I think I was just under 30,000, possibly. I can't really remember, but yeah, it's like there's no rules on, you know, what you need to do to get in. You just need to be someone who is very clearly passionate about the game, which I think is nice. I think a lot of kind of other games have programs that kind of focus on like the, you know, the biggest kind of channels and YouTubers in that community. Bloxburg doesn't so much. There is kind of like a range of bigger creators and smaller creators and like TikTokers, YouTubers, like different platforms, which I think is really nice. I think it's nice that there's like kind of not a lot of pressure on numbers and more so about your passion for the game. But that's pretty much it to do with like how you actually get in. And now we're going to move on to the question that most people are probably desperate for the answer for, and that is if we get paid or like other perks we get by being in the program. Now, this is kind of like talking about something I'm going to talk about at the end of the video as well when I talk about my experiences. So many of you are convinced they pay us money to like be really nice about the game and only say nice things, and like that isn't true at all. So we do get paid, but we don't get paid any like real life money. So every month we get paid 2 million in like the Bloxburg cash, and then we also get some Bloxburgs as well, obviously to go towards us, you know, making content on the game and stuff like that, and like update videos and things. But that is all like the payment we get, so we don't actually get paid like real life money. They're not paying us to like be nice about the game. Oh my god, I should have added that section. I should have added like a what are the rules or something. But yeah, we don't get like told that we can only say nice things. We can say whatever we want, which is why if you look at creators in the program, we are honest. We do say our brutal opinions. We do say things we don't like. People just kind of, I guess, view it as if we're not being like really horrible about the game and kind of insulting it, that we must be only being positive. But no, we do give our feedback. We do give it publicly. I do, especially on Twitter. We're not paid just to be, you know, positive. We can say whatever we want, but no, we're not paid real life money, but we do get like Bloxburg money, of course. In terms of other perks, we also have, hang on, if I chat in the chat, you can see I have a content creator name tag. That is one of our perks. You only get that if you're in the program. Obviously being in the program itself is a huge perk because obviously we get to talk to the developers. We get kind of like direct communication. Obviously the money I've just mentioned, and then I guess we get like followed by them, so they follow us on Twitter now as of a couple of weeks ago, which I would call a perk because that's crazy that like the welcome to Bloxburg account follows me. But unless I'm forgetting anything, that's pretty much it. Like the program itself is a perk. But yeah, to all of you who ask me all the time if I get paid, there is your answer. Okay, we also get more money sometimes depending on things like pre-builds, which I will talk about in the next section. So pre-builds I feel like are very controversial at the moment, more so because people wish that the pre-build market was public and anyone could make builds for it, which who knows what's going to happen. However, just so you guys are aware, that would take so much moderation. Like you couldn't just put on whatever you want, because let's be real, some builds people make are not the most appropriate. But in terms of pre-builds and the pre-builds we've made, there is rules and limits we have to stick to. So I've made 2 pre-builds now, and my first one was the like Bloxburg kind of like town London townhouses. So obviously these builds have to be kind of like as accessible as possible for players, and they also can't be too complicated. So they really advise us to not use structurals or basic shapes or anything like that as much as possible. In my first pre-build I wasn't allowed to use them like at all, except I think the structurals I used down the side for like the stones. However, they literally released like a stone kind of like detail item, the update after my pre-build was released, which is kind of crazy. But basic shapes and structurals are kind of something they advise we avoid, because obviously 1, they're expensive, and 2, we can't kind of like make items that aren't in the game and then sell them as a pre-build. Like people, if we made for example custom furniture and then kids buy that and they're like, okay, I want more of this kind of, I guess, table or something, and then they click on it and it just falls apart because it's made of basic shapes and it costs like 30k. Like that's kind of crazy. Like it kind of makes sense for us to actually stick to the game's actual items and not kind of like custom make things. Also the price of them, so the price you buy it for is pretty much the price we make it for. We have to stick to a budget. So my first one was 200k, and that was so difficult. Like as a a detailed builder, it drove me crazy, but they can't make them like mega expensive, and the really detailed kind of plots that people are asking for, it would be like 2-3 million. Like Bloxburg is really expensive. They can't kind of put on like a really detailed house with all these like custom decal things and basic shapes and structurals for like 5 million, because barely anyone's gonna buy that. And I feel like if you're the type of player to be looking for these really detailed houses, you're probably skilled enough at the game to make them yourself to some degree. So they are, I guess, to some degree a starter house, and for people who aren't interested in building or don't want to build that much, I think we have a great range of them, especially more recently we're getting more and more. But yeah, we do have limits to follow, which does make a lot of sense, but it's actually really fun to build. So they actually, for the first one, I got like a lot of kind of instructions on how it had to look and stuff, which was really fun. And then obviously they will give you feedback on it and kind of tweak a few things, and then it'll be released into the catalog. I also did the, I think it's called Garland Grotto. I did like a little Christmas market, which was really fun, but it's super hard to stick to budget because obviously you have to make it as accessible as possible. And we also get given the money for these, so when we build them, they will actually give us kind of like any currency we've spent on them. A lot of people are wondering if we get the money that people spend on buying the plots, and we don't. So we don't actually get like any other rewards for building these except the money that we may have used to build them. And then sometimes, like I was saying, with us getting paid and sometimes getting paid more in game for like updates and stuff, they will sometimes give us money to kind of like explore the pre-builds, if that makes sense, to be able to buy them for videos. But yeah, pre-builds are really interesting because there's like so many limitations and things depending on what build you're doing. Like I feel like, not gonna lie, okay, when they first released, people were really mean, like especially about mine and like the lack of detail. But like we were just doing, you know, oh my god, I can't pick up a pizza, is it broken? We were just doing what we're told. We can't kind of make it like super detailed. Okay, I'm gonna have to leave and rejoin. Pre-builds are really cool, they're really fun to make. I'm hoping to make another one. But moving on to another big part of the program is obviously testing the game. So we do help test kind of updates and stuff sometimes to obviously kind of give feedback on things and also kind of find any bugs and stuff like that. But one of the main things, which I think was probably the coolest to test, was the new map. Now obviously a lot of you knew that we had seen the new map before it was released, but we hadn't actually seen the final kind of like result. So whilst we do kind of help test things, a lot of the time they won't show us like the final update. Especially with the map, we didn't see kind of like everything finished because it kind of keeps like the excitement and the surprise kind of like for us as well as creators. Especially with the map, they didn't show us that result because they really wanted us to kind of, I guess, catch our reaction on camera. So yeah, we do help test a lot, but a lot of the time we won't see like the very final update, especially with big updates, I guess. And that's all I can kind of say on that. Obviously we do have access to a testing server and stuff. But moving on to kind of like my experiences, I feel like this kind of podcast episode is a lot shorter than I was thinking it was going to be. Oh, why isn't it letting me get the pizzas? I feel like this is a bug. I'm gonna have to, you know, go do my job and report that. You know what I'm gonna do? We're gonna switch to Burger Place instead. But yeah, this feels a lot shorter than I expected it to be, but I guess there's like not that much to say about it. But talking about my experience, honestly, the program has been like the most exciting thing in the world to me. Like when I got that email, I could not believe it. I was so convinced, like I said, that it wasn't real because I didn't understand how on earth like they would want me to, you know, be in something to do with Bloxburg. Like that is crazy. It's still crazy. My mum like filmed my reaction when I got the email because I was just like in such shock. Like I have played Bloxburg since 2016, so since I was like 12 or something. Like I have been obsessed with this game for nearly 10 years. Like it means the absolute world to me. I feel like a lot of people, which, you know what, I'll touch on this now. Okay, so basically, you know what I was saying with like the money thing where people think we're being paid? A lot of people think that, you know, creators just do this for the money and kind of forget that we are also players. And the reason the reason I have such a big platform now is because I'm so crazy about this game that I just kept going. Like I do this because I love the community and I love my community. Like I would do this regardless of, obviously now I get paid from YouTube because I'm at the kind of stage I am, but I would do this regardless. Like this is not about money for me. I genuinely adore this game so much. It has been my absolute world for nearly 10 years. So I was just like, I was so freaked out. It's just so crazy to get my head around still. So obviously I was a smaller creator when it happened as well. So I was like, oh my god, like why would they choose me? Like I was so blown away. But honestly, the program has been like one of the best things ever. I think it kind of allowed me to get a lot closer to other creators and be a lot kind of closer to the friends I kind of made in there. And obviously the devs, it's been so cool to be able to talk to them so much and get to know them. It's just incredible to be able to see everything behind the scenes, and I've had such positive experiences with it. The devs are like the loveliest people you will ever meet, so you'll probably see me defending them a lot on Twitter because I adore like that whole team. They love the game just as much as we do. Like they work so hard. It's so cool to be able to kind of like test things as well. I just feel so lucky. Okay, I genuinely don't know what to say at this point. Another thing, a lot of people think we kind of like film our videos in advance sometimes, which we don't. I know especially mine because I'm so extremely insanely fast with update videos, but no, we never film anything in advance. We film it just when everyone else films it when the release drop. But yeah, honestly, overall, my experience has been so good. That's all I can kind of say about it. I thought this kind of section would be more interesting, but like, it's not like I have any negative experiences to kind of like give you the gossip on in the program. But that's pretty much it. That's kind of like all the information about the program. If I've missed anything, honestly, comment it down below and I will probably kind of like answer a couple things in the pinned comment. I feel like with these kind of podcast episodes, because it's not really heavily scripted, like I've obviously written points down to remember to talk about, but I haven't like scripted the entire thing. I kind of go off on tangents and forget what I was saying. So yeah, if I've missed anything, comment down below. Also, comment anything you'd like to hear me talk about in kind of like future episodes and things like that. It can be Roblox related, Bloxburg, YouTube, me personally, whatever. And I will see you all in a few days for the Bloxburg news video, but I love you all so much, glossettes. XOXO, Glossy Girl.